So there was a really interesting study done last year at Columbia Business School. And what they did was they essentially, you can read the full thing there, but the overview is that they took a piece of art and they showed it to two different groups. One group was told this art is AI generated, and the other group was told this art has been produced by a human. And what they found was that when they said to people, how much would you pay for this? What do you think this is worth? The group that were told the art was AI generated valued it 62% lower than the exact same piece of art that the human group had seen as well. And it's that idea that actually one of the things we really value is human effort, right? We want to see the lots of time, lots of attention, lots of care, lots of expertise has gone into something. And that's a reason why actually sometimes now when you slap an AI logo on something, or when someone feels that your content or your copy has been AI generated, it immediately lowers the perceived value. Because actually, even though we often know that so much time and effort and knowledge and learning has gone into doing something through AI, we know that the prospect doesn't always know it. So they see AI and they think, oh, lazy. Someone's just put something in ChatGPT or Claude, got an output. I don't value that as highly because it's not human made. And a brilliant advertising campaign that I love. It's quite an old one, but it's when Dyson first came out with their bagless vacuum cleaner. Now, obviously, today, a bagless vacuum cleaner is pretty standard. Most of us has probably got one of those. Like, I can't even remember the last time I saw someone who had a vacuum cleaner with a bag in it. But when Dyson brought it out, it was a very new concept. So what they had to do is convince people that a lot of time and effort had gone into this. Otherwise, people would think, well, that's just bizarre. Like, why would I trust that? It seems very weird. It might be innovative, but is it going to work as well? I just don't know. So one of the early Dyson campaigns was all about the fact that James Dyson, in his attempt to make this first bagless vacuum cleaner, had 5,126 prototypes that had gone wrong. Now, what that does is very clever because people don't think, oh, well, you're a failure. What they think is, wow, if you've had to go through 5,126 variations of this thing, variation number 5127 must be the right one. You've spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources on creating something that's really going to work. Therefore, I now trust your new bagless vacuum cleaner anymore. And I can see that so much has gone into it. I understand why it might command a higher value. Now, obviously, that all goes on subconsciously, but that's a lot of the stuff that I look at. It's why we make the decisions we do, even if they're not a conscious thought. But ultimately, what this means is that humans inherently value effort. And so if you show in your marketing, whether it's your like direct response copy, whether it's your content, whatever it is, if you show that effort has gone into it, people will value it more. And as AI becomes even more sort of commoditized, even more mainstream, that effective effort is only going to go up. So my human voice strategy number one is show behind the scenes of your business. And what I mean by that is you might have heard the phrase build in public. So the opposite to build in public would be if I went away, created a brand new course, maybe it's on all this kind of stuff. I kept it very secret, I hid it away, I didn't tell anyone. And all of a sudden, one day I came out and said to my social media following, my email list, hey guys, I've got this brand new course, here's what it is, you should buy it. People would probably be a bit skeptical. They might think that it was quickly thrown together, they would have some doubts, right? But if I spent 6 months where maybe I was on Instagram stories a couple of times a week and I detailed how things were going with the course. Maybe I wrote a couple of emails talking about what was going into it, like how I was developing the modules, the lessons, case studies, people who tried it out. Maybe I showed it to industry friends and got some feedback from them. When I came to release it, people would trust that a lot more. So you really want to show the process and also embrace your failures. This ties into another behavioral psychology concept that I really like called the pratfall effect. And the pratfall effect says that when we see someone competent, we actually trust them more if they're open about what they're not so good at. So I could tell you that I'm an amazing email copywriter. I write subject lines that can beat any other copywriter out there. My opening hooks are amazing, but I might then say, but you know what? I'm really not that great at sales letters, and that's my Achilles heel. Would you trust me more than I'm good at email than if I told you that I was amazing at literally every single type of copy? You probably trust me more that I'm a great email writer if I say to you, email's my thing, I'm awesome at it, but sales letters, yeah, give those to someone else, that's not me. Because when we admit that flaw, it actually kind of humanizes us, and it shows people that they can trust us because we're being honest about something we're not so good at. So all that kind of stuff, whatever niche you're in, whatever industry, whatever product you're promoting, build in public, show the process, and also talk about what went wrong.